Hey everyone, and welcome back to Exposed, Scandalous Files of the Elite. I am your host, Jim Chapman, and we are back today with another Diddy Saga series, this being episode 16 in the series. And if you're new to the show, we have a lot of new listeners. Go check out the prior 15 episodes. They are eye-opening to say the least. Now, today, we do have an actual interview that I've included in the second half of this podcast with someone who was actually at the freak-off parties. And that's our subject for today. It is all about the freak-offs. And this particular person gives us a first-hand look at what it was like to attend one. But before you listen to that, I've got a lot of news to cover. And the first one that I'm going to bring you is from a party planner. Yep. Diddy actually had a party planner that planned these freak-offs, so he was apparently organized with them. Eye-opening indeed, as she laid out Diddy's checklist. So we're going to cover that. This is an article from the New York Post, and it said Sean Diddy Combs was extremely particular about the women who attended his freak-off parties. Details of which have emerged now. No women over 140 pounds were allowed inside Sean Diddy Combs' freak-off parties, with an exception of really tall ones. This from a party planner to the New York Post. She revealed she kept a scale in her car to ensure no female guest weighed more than 140 pounds. Apparently, Diddy was particular about the weight of the women. The girls had to be young and hot, so I always had a scale nearby in case I needed to make sure, and the number was 140 pounds. But if a girl was really tall, there was a little bit of discretion involved, she said. Not just the weight, but Diddy had other checklists for women who attended those freak-off parties. The checklist for women included no flab, no cellulite, not overly pierced or tattooed, no short hair, and the girls had to be young and hot. There was a separate checklist for the dress code too. The dress code reportedly demanded the women wear short dresses with high stilettos being non-negotiable. No pants, no jeans, no flats. Every girl had to wear a party dress, preferably very short, just enough to cover her butt cheeks, but no longer than mid-thigh, with the cleavage showing, and every single one of them had to be wearing stilettos. The former party planner worked with Diddy in the 2004 and 2005 timeframe. Now, the party planner said she never stayed around for the actual freak-offs, and she had no idea those girls were expected to have sex with people, which Diddy used to record. She said the age of the women was never asked, but it did not raise any suspicion, as she thought the age was never asked because of drinking laws. She was quoted as saying, "It was don't ask, don't tell. At the time, I was really young myself and honestly thought we weren't asking the age because of drinking laws." So there you have it. Diddy had a freaking checklist. Now, the New York Post reported viewing over 24 videos showing explicit encounters at these gatherings, many appearing to be held in connection with high-profile events like the Super Bowl and the MTV Music Awards. The footage reportedly showed women who meet those specific requirements I just gave you engaging in sexual acts as Combs allegedly looked on. In one video, it appeared that Diddy himself took part in the action, holding the camera from his point of view while performing sex acts. That from a party planner. Now, as I covered with you in the past, there's a lot of former employees coming out speaking against Sean Diddy Combs. And one of them is actually his former publicist, who had a lot to offer to the conversation as it relates to the Diddy parties. And here's what he said to the New York Post. There was a time when an invitation to a party hosted by Sean Diddy Combs was one of the most sought after tickets in the entertainment industry, with guest lists that included Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, Paris Hilton, and Jennifer Lopez. It was a chance to rub shoulders with some of the biggest celebrities. Jay-Z and Beyonce even released new music at his events. When Diddy winked at you and said, "Come to the VIP section," you knew you were going to have a really good night. That from Rob Shuttner, who worked as a publicist for the rapper at the height of his fame, in an exclusive interview. Now, Mr. Shooter's former star client is sitting in a Brooklyn jail a short drive away from the Hamptons, where he once presided over celebrity bashes. Mr. Combs' fall from grace has been swift, with extensive federal criminal charges in a sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. So Mr. Shooter, who worked from Diddy from 2002 to 2004, said Mr. Combs was at a pivotal moment in his career when he started working for the rapper. Mr. Combs had founded the Bad Boy label in 1993, and it represented some of the biggest names in hip-hop. Notorious B.I.G., Usher, and others. In 1998, he created Sean John, that later became a cultural phenomenon. From there, he dipped into fragrances, alcohol, and even set up a media company, becoming the host of multiple reality shows where he would discover new talent and make people stars. Mr. Shooter said that when he first joined the rapper's world, Mr. Combs wanted to transform his persona and elevate his career, looking to use his parties to keep himself at the center of the entertainment industry. He was just figuring out that how he could get the most attention was to become the party king of New York. Mr. Shooter said Mr. Combs was obsessed with power and a deep desire to remain famous, explaining the star loved to have his photo taken and wanted to show off his lifestyle. It was Mr. Shooter's job to keep Diddy at the top. Being part of his entourage, he said, was like being part of a circus. The rapper was the ringmaster. He said he never witnessed any sexual misconduct. Of course he's going to say that. "I've seen the imbalance of power. What I haven't seen, which is now alleged, it's just horrific. The reason he was such a superstar is because he thinks all about Diddy from the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to bed. Diddy's hobby is Diddy." And we've talked about that a lot on the show. This guy is the prototypical narcissist. He also claims Mr. Combs also held a deep fascination with the British royal family. Mr. Shooter said he remembered being asked more than 10 times to call Prince Harry and Prince William with invites to the parties. I bet he wanted them there, offering to cover their travel, lodging, and even pay for their security. In his lavish New York apartment, the rapper kept framed pictures of the princes. Mr. Shooter said he thought of himself as a king, so it makes perfect sense that he would like to have 2 princes in his entourage. Both Harry and William never accepted an invite from Mr. Combs, he added. And I can bet you they're as relieved as everybody else in the royal family that they didn't. But saying no to the music mogul wasn't something many others did. There were always guns around Diddy, Mr. Shooter said, describing metal detectors in his apartment that resembled those at the airport. It was strange. Mr. Shooter described firearms all over the rapper's home. In his private living quarters, security guards had guns strapped to their ankles. Mr. Combs held a close circle and was serious about both his security and his image. You don't get to be Diddy unless people around you were buttoned up. There was nobody around him sloppy. And can't fault him for that. He definitely needed security. Anybody worth that kind of money, you better have a entourage of guys toting guns, right? In the Los Angeles area, the rapper lived on what has become known as Beverly Hills' most expensive street. The high fences allow celebrities to hide from prying eyes. Hugh Hefner's Playboy mansion sits just a few doors down. The towering gate of Mr. Combs' estate have flaming torches burning day and night. And neighbors said that they often called police over his party. A FOIA request revealed that officers were dispatched to parties at the Diddy mansion 14 times over the past 7 years. On a street where discretion and privacy are of the utmost importance, no one wished to be named, but neighbors described privately what they witnessed, saying they were fed up and disturbed by what they saw. One neighbor was quoted as saying for 6 or 7 years it was just parties, parties, parties. adding she saw females at all hours coming out and sitting down in the street. They didn't know where they were. She said they appeared lost and their underwear was showing. Mr. Combs' mansion in Beverly Hills was one of several venues he used to host his annual white party, a flagship event which he held from 98 until 2009. He began the parties in New York's exclusive Hamptons area with a strict all-white dress code, bringing together East Hampton's old money elite and the rising stars of hip-hop. Mr. Combs once described the parties as a way to break down racial and generational barriers. But the hottest party of the year was a facade that allowed for sinister conduct. In a lawsuit filed this week, a man who was 16 described the thrill of getting to attend Mr. Combs' first white party in 98. Walking into the Hamptons mansion, he saw celebrities and entertainment executives left and right. In the lawsuit, he said he believed the party could open doors to his music career. And I covered all that, so I won't cover that again, but go listen to last week's episode to hear about it. But that's really a good article that really lays the foundation of what Diddy thought of himself. Just a total arrogant asshole, basically. Didn't care about anybody else. So now we're going to get into the wild stuff. And it was exceptionally wild last week when Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband came out with some pretty disturbing claims regarding J.Lo and her history as it relates to the freak-offs. As a matter of fact, he made an Instagram post with some pretty crazy accusations. So I'm going to read an article that references that Instagram post, and this gives some pretty interesting details, to say the least. So it says, Jennifer Lopez has been accused of attending and participating in Sean Diddy Combs' now infamous freak-off parties during their time as a couple. Ojani Noah, J.Lo's first husband, took to social media to distance himself from any connection to the Combs freak-off parties, but gladly claimed the singer and actress was one of multiple celebrities present at those affairs. In a post on Instagram, Noah shared a list of stars who allegedly attended Diddy's parties, one being Lopez, whom Combs dated during the late 1990s and early 2000s. I'm not on the list, Noah captioned the post. To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went to or participated in that piece of shit's freak-off parties, no, no, and no. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka J.Lo, did. Ask her. Lopez's disgruntled former lover continued, urging the public to question her regarding the alleged explicit recordings and other questionable items federal agents claim to have found during their investigation into Combs. Oh, and ask her about the sex tapes, he added. The 734 dildos and the baby oil. Noah has expressed his seemingly disdain for both Lopez and Combs in recent week amid the latter's federal indictment and arrest on racketeering and sex trafficking charges in September. Ojani, who married Lopez in February of 1997 before the couple divorced less than a year later, blames their split on Combs' working relationship with Lopez. That relationship, which was forged during the making of Lopez's debut album, On the Six, later became romantic, with Diddy and Lopez dating between 1999 and 2001 before calling it quits. She went from Jen to being J.Lo, this big business bringing in millions, Noah once told the Daily Mail of the shift in their relationship. She had all these new people around her, all wanting to make money off of her. I would call and an assistant would say, I'm sorry, she's not available. Now, it's important to mention this is an ex-husband who is obviously disgruntled, so you have to kind of take what he's saying with a grain of salt. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it's true, but for him to come out and just blatantly say it, there may be some truth to it. And Jennifer Lopez has not commented on it, but it's all alleged at this point. And it didn't stop there for Diddy. And honestly, a beautiful Playboy model has spoken out also, saying that she was actually tricked into a freak off with Diddy. And here's what she said. A former Playboy model who was allegedly tricked into a freak-off with Diddy Combs claims the disgraced music mogul was a monster who forced her to watch Jennifer Lopez videos and directed his employees to do his dirty work. Rachel Kennedy recounted on a podcast meeting Combs at a topless club in Tokyo, Japan called Seventh Heaven, where she worked as a dancer. Kennedy said the club was known to draw some A-list celebrities, including Combs and his entourage, who came to party one night in the year 2000. Combs came back the next night and allegedly invited her and her friends to his hotel. Kennedy said when she arrived with two of her friends at the hotel, Combs answered the door wearing a bathrobe and a champagne bottle was in his hand. I realized before we even walked through the front door that it was just him, the ex-Playboy model said. I was like, this is not a party. This is not the kind of party we were all expecting. It was just him by himself. I never expected that it would be just him by himself in the room, but we went in. We didn't really think anything weird. He was friendly enough to where we decided, okay, we'll just hang out with him. Kennedy said she was unaware that the bad boy mogul had invited her to a freak-off, a term federal prosecutors said Combs used to describe wild drug and alcohol-fueled sex parties. She said when she walked into the room, the television was already on and was playing Jennifer Lopez's video. The actress had been dating Combs at the time, and Kennedy said the rapper allegedly was also speaking to J.Lo on a cell phone while they watched the music video on a continuous loop. It was kind of an odd thing to find out that we were watching J.Lo's videos, Kennedy said. It seemed kind of creepy to me, very disrespectful since we were already in his room and there was no party going on. We were doing cocaine that evening and he said he didn't like drugs and that he didn't want anything like that around him. So we would sneak into the bathroom and do it because he said he only smoked pot and he didn't want the drugs around him. After about an hour, Combs allegedly told Kennedy and one of the other women to go into another room with him. He took us into the bedroom and proceeded to get naked, Kennedy said. He instructed us to go down on him, and we both did. We had quite a bit of champagne at that point, and we just did what he said. It wasn't forceful. There was nothing forceful about it. It was just, he's like, this is what I want. And both me and the other girl proceeded to pleasure him that way. The sexual encounter lasted about 20 minutes. It wasn't impressive, Kennedy said of Combs' penis. It wasn't impressive, Kennedy said of Combs' penis, which has been described by another alleged victim in the lawsuit as adolescent both in length and width. The length is fine, she said. I mean, it's nice, average length, but the width is, pencil-like. It's very thin. Unfortunately, I still remember that, she added. Right after Combs finished, Kennedy said his bodyguard forcefully barged into the room. She claimed the bodyguard recognized her from the night before and was visibly angered when he saw Combs with her. The bodyguard said, "That's my girl. That's the girl from last night. What's going on?" That's when the man became more enraged, she claims. He proceeded to start to try and throw us out of the room, grabbing at us, trying to kick. I would say stomp is more appropriate than kick, the model said. He was trying to stomp us out of the room, grabbing at us, trying to, just get us out any way he could. Combs allegedly did nothing to stop his out of control employee. The bodyguard was so violent and so angry, we just couldn't believe what was happening. We were in shock. First of all, how does he have that much access to Puff Daddy's room? That's the first thing I thought. How does he just come in like that? Kennedy said she and her friends ran down the hotel hallway in fear of their lives. She claims Combs had rented out the entire floor, so they were unsure who they could turn to for help. Instead, they made it to the elevator and got away. Once inside the lobby, Kennedy claimed she used her house phone and called Combs' room several times. He picked up and I said, "What's going on here? Why was he trying to hurt us? Why was he so angry and violent?" Kennedy said. It was above and beyond the reaction that didn't have to happen. He just kept hanging up the phone. Years later, knowing now what I knew then, I think we were just lucky. Kendi said seeing the now viral hotel surveillance video of Combs kicking and attacking his former girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, at an LA hotel in 2016 triggered the memory of her being violently chased out of Combs' room. While she doesn't compare herself to the victims who have filed lawsuits claiming they were sexually assaulted, raped, and threatened by Combs, Kendi said it was ultimately the bad boy founder who controlled the situation. I'm in no way comparing myself to those other people that have been brutalized by him, but it makes sense now that I see everything that's going on, she said. He is the puppet master of this, and that's why people think it's okay, because he's teaching them that this kind of behavior is acceptable, and that's regular people. They aren't celebrities or executives or whatever. We don't matter. Our lives don't matter. We're just nothing to them. We're disposable. Couple of more bits of news, and then we're going to get to that interview. And the next thing I'm going to tell you about is a witness who actually claims he saw sex tapes with 8 celebrity victims in Diddy, and it included 2 underage stars. So I'm just going to reference this. An apparent witness embroiled in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking probe claims he saw a handful of sex tapes featuring 8 different celebrity victims, including at least 2 underage male stars. Courtney Burgess, who testified before a grand jury in Manhattan on Thursday of last week, claimed in an interview with News Nation's Banfield that he saw 6 males and 2 female celebrities engaging in sex acts with the disgraced mogul. Now, it's important to mention, he testified to this in front of a grand jury. That is extremely important. This isn't just somebody going on a podcast making a bunch of claims. This is a dude that testified in front of a grand jury. If he's proved lying, he goes to jail, and he knows that. So I continue on. Asked how many of the stars appeared to be under the influence or inebriated on the tapes, Burgess alleged all of them. He went on to claim that all appeared to be victims. Of the 8 celebs, Burgess initially claimed that 2 were male minors before later saying it could be 3 who were underage. The alleged tapes were apparently included on 11 flash drives that he alleged were given to him by Combs' ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter. Burgess, who claims he's one of Porter's former associates from which he worked in Atlanta, said he was also given a manuscript of the late model's memoir detailing her years with the accused sex trafficker. He didn't explain why or when Porter gave him the alleged tapes. It also wasn't immediately clear when or if Burgess turned over the apparent evidence to investigators. That is huge. When you got a guy willing to testify to a grand jury, he's probably telling the truth. And Kim Porter, rest in peace, speaking from the grave on this one. And I'll keep you posted on that. Now, one last thing to cover, and then we're going to jump right into the interview with a woman who actually attended a freak-off. Now, Sean Diddy Combs had a less lavish birthday party than usual this year. While reports about parties thrown by the rapper have been circulating widely since his September arrest, Combs won't have the chance to celebrate in his preferred manner. He's turning 55 in jail. He's currently being held without bail in the Metro Detention Center in Brooklyn. And Fox News Digital confirmed the foods that will be served to him on his November 4th birthday. For breakfast, the menu is simple. He received fruit, cereal, breakfast cake, and skim milk. His breakfast will be the same for the rest of the week, with coffee not available until Saturday. The lunch menu included pasta with marinara sauce with a choice of meatballs or chickpea marinara. Inmates also received a garden salad with assorted dressings, whole wheat bread, fruit, and a beverage. With dinner, Combs will get the option of either having chicken fried rice or tofu fried rice. Black beans and carrots will also be served with bread and another beverage. Combs' son, Justin, shared a video on Monday with siblings Christian, Quincy, Chance, Jesse, Delilah, and Love in honor of his father's birthday. The group held a phone while Love, who is Sean Combs' youngest child, sang happy birthday before blowing out a candle on a birthday cake. Combs is heard on the other line telling them he loves them and is proud of them. I can't wait to see y'all, he said. Thank you for being by my side and supporting me. I love y'all and you're the best family in the world. Combs will seemingly remain in the detention center for the next several months. His criminal trial set to begin May 5th. He repeatedly has been denied bail. And so there you have it. Sean Combs' birthday in jail. All right, so now I'm going to play you an interview. And this was conducted by our friends at Soft White Underbelly on YouTube. So go check them out. They do great work. And in the full interview clip I'm about to play you, they sit down with Tania. And Tania was actually one of the attendees of a Freak-Off. You've got to hear this in its entirety. What she describes is pretty shocking throughout the entire interview. And here is what that interview sounds like.
December of 22.
Oh, yeah. About to be 23.
December of 22, you were here. You did our first interview. You were just some girl that I met through a friend.
Right.
And you were doing this interview, and you mentioned something about...
I accidentally mentioned it, too. Like, it slipped out.
About P. Diddy.
About P. Diddy.
You went to one of his parties.
Yeah. Crazy party.
And he's in the news now because of all the scandal.
And they didn't believe me. But when it started coming out, people were like mentioning me like, you were telling the truth about it. And I'm like, duh, I'm not going to lie about something like that. And I kind of like tried to briefly talk about it because I knew it wasn't going to seem true because it was just too much. It was too
crazy.
It was too crazy. People were going to think that I was just lying. It had like a lot of people involved, celebrities and stuff. So I was trying to be real vague about it. But that party traumatized me.
How did you get invited to it?
By being with a prince that I met in L.A. He lived in Glendale, California. And, long story short, I got out of this crazy little contract and I was looking for somebody to invest in me. And I knew somebody who knew somebody that was like, I want to introduce you to a prince. He know a lot of celebrities, producers and stuff. So I never put two and two together that this prince knew P. Diddy as the producer.
When you say a prince, prince of what?
He was a Arabian prince.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And he really was a prince for real. But I wasn't worried about him being a prince. I was worried about who he actually knew. So when he invited me to, he met me, he said, I want to invite you tomorrow to Music Ultra Week, whatever. And it's like an event, Ultra Music Week. It's like an event for like 2 weeks where people party, including P. Diddy. And they party at Club Live. They party at like just in South Beach, Star Island, like where P. Diddy stays or throw his freak-offs at. And I never knew that we were going to go there because I was there for 2 weeks and I knew it was something fishy. He kept saying, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, but I'm only supposed to stay for 2 weeks and I'm here longer than 2 weeks. And it was almost a month. It was basically a month by then. And he was like, no, because I just want you to meet one special person. So he ended up telling me, like, when we went to Club Live, he was like, guess where we're going tonight? I'm like, where? He's like, to P. Diddy's house. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, that's crazy because I hear a lot about P. Diddy. And I'm like, his house for what? Like, to go sing? He's like, no, he's throwing this wild party. Da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay. So we went from Club Live. It ended at like, the clubs end at like 3 or 4 and not 2, like how out here is. So we waited around the mansion, the Prince's mansion, for about an hour. And then soon as 6:30 hit, we went. We all got in the car, like a big Uber. And me and all the other girls. Now, mind you, I'm the only black girl. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm about to meet P. Diddy. Oh, like, I'm probably going to have to sing for him. Da-da-da. And I just tried to, like, keep my composure. So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, it's he can get in trouble like right now. So basically, we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So as we're in there, the only way of us taking any type of pictures is if we get in the photo booth. He has like a Team Love photo booth or whatever. Take like 4 pictures. So I, got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap too, like of the photos, everything. That's all you could get. So I'm walking around or whatever. So one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house. Cause the Freak-Off is inside the house and in the backyard. So you have the pool and they're playing loud house music. Like, Mark, the house music, it makes you feel kind of woozy, first of all, because it's like a rave or something. Dun, 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 dun. And it's real loud. So you can't really see nothing, but you're seeing everybody like walking around, drunk, hopping around. It's still 7 a.m. So the sun is like coming up and people are walking around naked, period. Let's get into it. They're walking around naked already. And they're in the pool, skinny dipping. And they're drinking mimosas in the pool, but then it's like a waitress walking around giving people drinks, just passing people drinks, and people are just taking them. Me, I don't drink like that, but I'm like an occasional drinker. Like I'll drink if we're partying or whatever, just for that occasion. So, because people are going to keep saying, drink, drink, drink. But I didn't take a drink yet. But I just had it in my hand. So one of the sons seen me walking. Mind you, I'm with other girls, but we split up. So I was walking with one girl. She's a Puerto Rican girl. So P. Diddy's son was like, you. And I'm like, me or her? And then he was like, no, you. Come here. So I went to him and he gave me some shoes. So these shoes was like some terry cloth, like robe shoes, white shoes. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these? He was like, go in the house with these. He was like, everybody who gets these shoes, you get to go in the house. But I'm thinking you could just go in the house if you want to, but everybody can't go in the house. They're literally selectively picking who they want. So I'm like, well, what about my friend? He was like, no, only you. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm holding the shoes. I'm walking around. I'm a good loyal friend. I'm not going to go inside a house where they say my friend can't go. So we just walking around mingling. But we tripping out, looking at everybody like they off everything smoking and jumping around like hooligans. And so I seen P. Diddy or whatever, and I seen him with the Prince. I'm not going to say what he was doing, but something really, I get real nervous. Something real crazy, because I don't like to really expose people. I could talk about me, but when it's about, like me, my family, because it's us. But when it's other people, bro, doing something real sexual, that's all I'm going to say. So that we could see and so that we can get turned on, okay? So he's doing something with himself. And I'm like, girl, do you see him? She's like, yes. But mind you, we're screaming like, girl, do you see him? Oh, my God. Because of the music. And I'm just like, whatever. Then he starts to act like really obnoxious, like, I'm the king of the world, jumping around, doing all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's regular P. Diddy shit. But what got me was how he walked up to me and was like, why are you not in the house? And I'm like, what do you mean? He like, how are you enjoying my house? So we had a little talk or whatever. He started talking about all these things. Oh, yeah, you're the one that, I seen was telling me about the Prince. He's like, oh, yeah, it's very nice to meet you. Like, your life is not going to be the same. We started talking about going to Cuba. Are you going to Cuba with us? I'm like, what? And that's the thing. I didn't really know about this. So this is when I start asking around or whatever. And I said that in the last interview. But to get to the point, I ended up going in the house because he was on me, like, go in that house. I'm like, okay. And then the person that he was dating at that time, we're not going to say her name, but we all know, she came and was like looking at him like, what are you doing? Because he was talking to me for too long. So she came to like rub on his shoulders or whatever. And he just pushed her. And I'm looking like real uncomfortable, like, oh, I know what this is about. I don't want to be in the middle of there, whatever. So that's what made me go into the house, because I'm like, okay, let me just go in the house. So I told my friend, like, wait right here, girl. Let me just put on these shoes, see what this house is about. Walk up in there. I don't judge people, because at the time I was just smoking weed. But when people are out of their mind, and when people... what you don't want to be a part of. And it's just like, I'm seeing stuff that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having sex. This corner, I'm just going to say, because I don't know what I can say because I'm not trying to be incriminating myself, but they were dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies.
Like what?
Little people, okay? We're not going to say what type of little people, but like a fetish. And I'm looking like, what are they doing here? Like dressed up, little red lipstick, like they weren't supposed to be there. But I'm just looking like maybe it's some type of production going on. But why would they be at this party at 7 o'clock in the morning with grown people? Like, why would they be here? So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, but then when I'm looking in this corner, this person laid out, and I'm looking like, what's going on? Then I'm seeing like Instagram models or whatever. I'm like, oh, hey. So I'm kind of getting distracted, feeling like kind of comfortable. Like, she's here? Oh my gosh, she's here. And then I see P. Diddy, walking through the house, like with his eyes on me. Like, like, is this, you see, like, are you agreeing with this? And I don't. Now, mind you, I still got my friend out there. So I walked out of the house and I'm telling her, like, oh my God, bitch. Like, this nigga is, oh my God, she like for real? But I'm just like, I'm not even tripping. Like, oh, well, like, this nigga's weird. Like, so I'm really looking at the situation like, I don't even want to be involved in this type of stuff because once I see something, I can't get it out of my mind. And I'm like a hypochondriac. Like, I keep on having flashbacks about it. So, whatever. So, of course, I come out, and then here he goes again. And another rapper, well-known rapper, comes and starts feeling on me like, hey, you. So now it just seems like everybody is faded at this point. They're either drunk or on all the drugs, obviously, with this house music. So now I just feel like trapped in. Like, I don't like it. And I know the devil when I see it. Because by me being so spiritual and tapped in, I know when something is not right. I'm not judging, but I just don't want to be a part of it because how am I going to get out of this shit? Like, I'm already here. And then I heard conversations or whatever. And then P. Diddy was like, that's the one that I want. I want her. So now I feel like, they plotting on me. Like, did you bring me here on purpose? Like, is this the, producer you was talking about? And I came here specifically with the Prince to rub elbows with people, to network for the music week. But then I put two and two together like, the Prince have been saying your life is never going to be the same. You're going to be happy. Somebody's expecting you. And I just feel like that was the time that I was going to get sex trafficked or, drugged or something like that. And then they kept trying to make me like, I've been around celebrities before. If a rapper wants you or somebody wants you, they're not going to do it. They're going to send somebody else to do it. So if a waitress is coming or another girl or a pretty girl or a guy, they'll sick somebody on you. Like, take this drink, do this, do that. And then you just feel eyes on you, like watching to see if you're going to do it, when you're going to do it. So I already know what time it was. And it's crazy because I had to leave that place. In my last interview, I told you I had to escape. I had to leave from the Prince because he was telling me we was leaving for Cuba the next day. Cuba with who? With P. Diddy or what? Like, this is all crazy. So to see all of this stuff come out, and I escaped by leaving. I had to call the police and everything. I had to leave with the Prince. That's another story. From the Prince, from that house. I didn't leave with the other girls. I had to get my phone unlocked, of course. But like, I had to like catch a taxi, not even an Uber, a taxi to another location. And then I ended up going to the airport and I ended up leaving because I just felt bamboozled. First, I'm getting lied to about how long I'm supposed to stay there. Then you keep talking about I'm supposed to meet this producer, but we're not talking about nothing with music, but you're talking about going to Cuba. We didn't even do what we were supposed to do in Miami, or did we do what we were supposed to do in Miami at this Freak-Off? But because I'm not cooperating with what I see, and I feel like that's what the Illuminati and stuff is about, like a secret society. Like, they want to see what you allow, what you cool with, and then next thing you know, boom, take that drink, you're drugged. Take that, you're out of it. Take that pill, because everybody was off something. But you had to be being in that environment like that.
How many people were at this event?
Like hundreds. Even when it was a certain amount outside, but in the house was really crowded. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that, like, it was more people in the house.
And you walked around?
Yeah, I walked around for about 5 minutes. I seen what I need to see. And I was like, no, ma'am. No, sir. Because it was like selling your soul at that house. And if you like that, it's nothing to you. But if you're not like that, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then it's like, at first I used to think P. Diddy was like, so he always talk about team love and all of this stuff. Like he's all about, no, he all about sex, himself. And I know sex because I've dealt with men, Mark. So I know when somebody is trying to lead you on to stuff and sitting back acting like he just this macho man. And he is a charmer though. That's one thing. Like he will charm the fuck out of you. But for me, that's so game tight. I'm like, I know what this is. And I'm ready to get to the music. Like, if that's the case, you should have been like, don't tell me you about to change my life and da-da-da. And, oh, have you been writing? Oh, that's another thing too. He was like, have you been writing the songs that I seen been telling you to write? Because the Prince wanted me to write out all the songs I ever made in my life. I said, without the beat? He's like, yeah, just start writing songs. So you never know. They'll take my music, drug me, fuck me, do whatever, and just throw me away, basically. Or after you have something on me, when we do the music, you have that on me that this happened, and now I'm blackmailed or some shit like that. So touching all on me at that party, even the rapper who touched all on me, like, that rapper was cool. Like, I was liking that rapper. But when they were like, hey, you, and doing all that, what can I do? All I could do is just say, like, move his hand like, oh, I'm fine, but, trying to, like, still be cool. But I'm like, why do everybody feel comfortable to just touch on you? Even P. Diddy, like, why I look up and you're right there? And then, like, in my face, like, are you, like, in my house? Like, it's weird. Like, looking at him, it's like when you're a kid and you're getting in trouble by your parent and you can't look them in their face. And it's like a demon. I'm telling you, like this dark spirit, like he possessing you as he's looking at you. That power, that control. So I'm like, I read The Art of Seduction, motherfucker. I know what you're doing. And you're trying to really seduce me right now. And, oh, take a drink. Oh, do this, do that. Go in there. Like it's just not nothing. And I want to know why me go in the house and why not the girl? So now you're picking and choosing. So it's fishy to me. So when all this stuff started coming out, I was like, I knew I was right. I knew it. Like, it ain't no doubt about that P. Diddy was doing all that. And like I say, I don't judge because I've been around people doing cocaine. But these hard drugs that they was doing and just, I ain't gonna lie, it was orgies and stuff going on. So all of this stuff going on, I'm like, why is people doing stuff all in the open? Like, that's just offending me and assaulting me, period. Because where am I at? I didn't sign up for this. And how can I really get out? So I had to like ease my way on out. It's security, but they not caring about what happens as long as that phone is closed. Mm. They damn near don't care if somebody died up in there. Ain't nobody can film it.
And there were famous people or not?
It was a whole bunch of famous people.
Yeah.
Like 4 famous people and then some Instagram models. Mm. And the whole time he just was like trying to undress me with his eyes. And I was thinking like, this is really no cap. Because at that time, I always been skinny. So at that time, the son who came up to me, I was like, boy, is it because I resemble your mom? Like, like Kim Porter, like stuff like that. Like, you just never know. Like, I feel like, P. Diddy does have a type. I feel like everybody that was in that house, it was a certain type of person. It was a certain type of something that he wanted and what he liked. And you could just tell, like, he get whatever he wants. That's why he has no problem touching on you, being all in your face, popping up on you, being obnoxious, and just hounding you until you do what he say. And that's just how the industry is already, especially him, because he got a lot of money,
Because you're a singer as well, right?
Yeah, so they probably like, do you want this opportunity or what? And I'm like, not that damn bad, but I do want it. I do. But if I already got a bad vibe and I'm seeing stuff that you're into, I already know how this is going to be. So I don't want to, ignore some red flags and then I'll be in trouble because of you. Like, literally in trouble. Like, we know his past, like Shine, the rapper, being in jail because of him. Like, don't think just because I'm from where I'm from, you could just do anything. And that's why I never really said nothing about it, because I just felt like, who am I? He got money. Like, ain't nobody going to believe me. But I have all the receipts. I have it all in my Snap to this day. It never went nowhere. That was just my experience just being in Miami for the first time. I didn't know that I was going to end up at P. Diddy's house.
Did you take photos outside the house?
When I got my phone back, yeah.
Videos or something?
I took videos when I was going to the house before I knew this was some weird shit. And then when I got my phone, I ended up, recording. And then I had the shoes on.
Oh, you had the shoes?
I left with the shoes on because I don't know where I put my shoes at when I put those on. And it was a lot going on. It was real loud. So, I don't know. It just tripped me out. And I was like, is he gay? You know, like, and nothing against gays. I couldn't put my finger. I was like, what is this dude into? But his house, his freak off. No, not like that. You know I'm going to make everything into a joke. But this is a real serious situation because it'll traumatize you because now I ain't trusting no producer. I look at everybody like if I went to the top of the top and I've been looking at him like this top-notch mogul and like whatever. But child, it's a lot. But it's some stuff, that I did leave out because I don't want to say too much. But because I told you it was some celebrities in there. But for these girls that did get drugged and did take these drinks, I feel like it's because everybody was all having fun. You wouldn't think that somebody would do something like that to you until you get to seeing everything. And once you're intoxicated, it's too late. It's just too late. So that's why you got to watch what drinks you take. And they was just pushing them on us too much. Take a drink, take a drink, take a drink. And I'm like, no. Because I was already, sipping a little bit at Club Live. So I wanted to, mind you, I'm thinking, he going to ask me to sing in a minute. I don't want to be toe up,
Mm-hmm.
Until I put two and two together. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you got out and survived.
Yep. I'm always surviving. This is no joke.
You're a survivor. For
real. And it's like, I'm still going through stuff. You don't survive being traumatized. And these things do traumatize you because it's like, dang, I can't never get around this. Like, it always end up to this, sex. Or some creep shit. Or somebody taking advantage of you or something. Or feeling all on you and you can't do nothing because...
You thought the streets were dangerous.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you. But, yeah. So I just want to see, what's going to happen because I know a lot of people was... He went to trial today. And I didn't even know.
It's going to be in the news for a while, I think.
It's going to be in the news, and a lot of stuff is going to come out. So don't be saying I'm lying, because I wasn't lying.
This is all alleged, but
right.
Sounds like it's pretty consistent with things that are in the news.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And you did say this, 2 years ago.
Exactly. And I told you I got sex trafficking vibes from it. Remember? I was like, he was trying to sell us. The Prince to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want? Which one? I want that one.
What does it feel like to be peddled off like that to somebody powerful? Is it?
It's scary. It's scary because what could happen, but it's like, come on, I'm honored to be
chosen.
Chosen. Period. But I don't want to be. I don't want to end up in a ditch somewhere, just
no,
because he's choosing so many people and assaulting people. I don't want to be assaulted, and I don't want to be filled up. If you're going to fill me up, make sure you ask me, can I touch you? You're beautiful. You not just you in my house so I can. And I'm like, this is weird. Tell me first, fool. Because I would have charged you. No, I'm saying. But, and I just make, it did hurt my feelings. So, whatever. I got over it. And I didn't do music no more after that because I was like, I'm cool on music, bro.
That would scare you out of the industry.
Yeah, this is all they want. Let me just make an album and sing and write. You a producer, ain't you? But no, you're a freak and a creep. Yeah. Ask permission first because, no means no.
So there it is. right from the horse's mouth, a woman who actually attended a freak off, and really a first person point of view of what occurs. Everything you wanted to know, and probably some things you did not want to know about these freak offs. And we will be back on Thursday with another installment of the Murdaugh series. So check that out. Please remember to rate us if you're enjoying the content. I can't tell you how much that helps us grow. Check out the Patreon. We release bonus episodes. We release early release commercial free episodes. We give our top tier patrons quarterly gifts. We do all kinds of stuff on that Patreon, and it really helps support the show. I love every single one of you to the very end that support me on Patreon. And look, before I get out of here, also, I want to mention thank you so much for the awesome messages on Facebook. If you don't follow the Facebook, go follow it. I love interacting with all of you that listen to the show and support what I do with Exposed. And I can't thank you enough. So until next time, for Exposed, Scandalous Files of the Elite, I'm your host, Jim Chapman. Much love.